Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Shirley Talk. I'm Mike Mulroney.
I'm Kelly Duckworth.
What's going on, Kelly? Did you have a good weekend?
I did. Did you?
I think we talked about this earlier. I was trying to remember. It was poker run weekend, wasn't it?
It was.
And we had a good time.
It was a good time.
It was lots of boats, lots of people, and we did very well.
Mm-hmm. Good time.
So, are you a doctor?
No.
Attorney?
Nope.
Accountant?
Nope.
Nothing.
Definitely not an accountant. Math is not my forte.
Yeah, that's Wendy. We call her Mrs. Spreadsheet.
Yeah.
But we do that to point out that we are professionals of nothing, and this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. So thanks for joining us, and we have a special guest today, Mr. Craig Hartlage. How you doing?
I'm doing good, doing good.
I got to take these headphones
you look
off. They're
kinda
driving
funny.
me crazy. Yeah. Well, we've done this as the third time, and this is the third time we've done this. The first time, I won't say who forgot to hit record, and the last time
me.
we had Craig's mic turned down. So we've done. This is our third take on this, and I think we got it down pat at this
Third
point.
time's the charm.
You know, you're probably going to get a lot of messages on how to turn my mic down because there's going to be a lot of people going, I wish I could have turned his mic down a few
I
times.
can do that actually, so I just need to put the headphones on and make sure the volume's right.
Yeah.
So you called me, or we talked last year sometime, and you were working on Project Me, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But somehow you roped me into doing a 50-miler, and you had said, "Look, I want to do some sort of big walk, something pretty far." And we talked about the Louisville Loop. And the last thing I remember saying is, "Cool, I'll do it with you." And we got off the phone, and I don't know how I got to that point.
Yeah, well, when you got to that point, I hung up, so you couldn't back
I
out.
couldn't back out. I know, it was kind of late.
But yeah, so I wanted to do some sort of physical challenge that was going to really take me to some deep places mentally, something that's going to be really hard to get through. And on the flip side of that, I've wanted to contribute to Shirley's Way at a capacity where I couldn't just donate that amount. So as I started thinking about the one, it kind of led into the other. And so that's when I called you. And I thought about this walk. Hey, I want to walk 50 miles. That's something that I was in nowhere near the shape to be able to do. But I wanted to push myself and make myself do it. And I thought maybe I can get some people to pledge on my behalf to Shirley's Way if I complete this 50-mile walk. And I remember talking to you that day, and you were like, well, heck, I'm in. I'll do it. And
I don't know what I was thinking.
I was like, sucker.
Nope.
So I went with it, and then, we thought, well, maybe we can open this up and get a few other people to raise some money too. And it has kind of morphed into the first annual Shirley's Way 50-miler that has been a big part of my life the last few months. So pretty neat.
Yeah.
So when we started talking about this, you went out and you couldn't even run. I think you said a quarter of a mile. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So my first run, when I decided to do this, at that point I was still going to walk the thing, but I had to get in shape. I needed, to improve physically. So I tried to run to get a baseline, and I didn't make it a quarter mile. My shin splints were bad. My hips were hurting. I was out of breath, and it was kind of a dark moment for me that day. That was back in February. It really opened my eyes to how out of shape I had become, and it hurt my own feelings, if that's a thing. But what it did was I took that and flipped the script on it and used it to fuel, the process and get me to where I'm at now. So
What'd you do last Saturday?
Last Saturday was a big training day. I ran my first marathon last Saturday. Not a sanctioned event, but I ran 26.2 miles from my morning workout, and I've hired a running coach, which is something I never thought I'd say, but I hired a running coach named Danny Chester. He's an awesome runner here in Louisville and an awesome coach. And he is on board for my craziness, and he has ran ultras. So one of the things that he has me doing now is on my long run days like last Saturday, I'll have a long run in the morning, which mine was 26.2, and then he makes me run that afternoon as well. So I ran 4 more miles that afternoon just to get my body used to torture and actually moving when it's exhausted. So I can tell you this, that 4-mile run was harder than that 26.2 from a mental standpoint to get up and go do.
Do it again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, when we talk about discipline, and he was running 26 miles that morning while we were drinking on the lake for a poker run. So, I mean, you very well could have just said, hey, I'm going to go to poker run this weekend and not do that. But that's when you talked about motivation, doesn't always work.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that I've learned through this journey and that I try to practice is the delayed gratification. So, like, your all Saturday was that instant gratification, right? Y'all were partying
We waited
on the
till
lake.
noon before we
And,
drank our first beer.
And
I
mine,
think.
yeah, and so my activities were definitely for the delayed gratification because that whole day sucked, right?
Yeah.
That was a very hard day for me.
Me too.
Think about, almost 250 pounds running a marathon, hitting an ice bath, eating some food, laying on the couch a couple hours, and then going out for 4 more. So
Yeah, because you and I aren't built for running.
no, we
Not
are
even
not.
close.
We're not, and it shows too. There is a reason why there's not a lot of big runners.
Yeah.
There's some, and they're phenomenal athletes. But it's
pounding on the feet and the legs and the knees is incredible.
Yeah.
And most of these runners are pretty skinny people. And the most I've ever done was a mini marathon, and we did it a few times. And I actually was going to train for a full marathon, and I was blaming the rain on it earlier, and it's true, it rained, but I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I mean, I can make all the excuses in the world, and people are full of excuses, but I wasn't ready. So it rained, and I used that as my excuse not to do it that day.
Yeah, it's so that's always a possibility. You don't know the weather, and we're in the Ohio Valley, so this event is September 24th. It could be 85 degrees and sunny, or it could be 40 degrees and freezing rain. We don't know. So I started training in February, and I took advantage of every bad weather day from then till now. If it's back in February, I think the coldest day we had like a negative 11 wind chill with snow on the ground. I went out and ran. And then throughout this whole summer, all these 90-degree days, most of the time I run at 4 or 5 in the afternoon. So I'm trying to condition myself for anything. I run in the rain. It doesn't matter. I'll run in the storms. And it sucks, but it's preparing me in case we have that. And if not, it just makes fair weather that much easier to do. So
I guess I can take the heat better than the cold. The cold is miserable for me, and I remember doing those mini marathons and these skinny people coming up, and it'd be 30 degrees outside start out, and towards the end of the run it'd feel pretty nice outside, but they would be in tank tops and these short shorts, and I was like, what? I'm missing something because I'm not feeling it.
he sounds angry at skinny people.
I know.
I'm mad because I can't handle the cold weather. I cannot stand cold weather.
Yeah,
Hate it. So to get up and run at negative 11, that ain't happening.
No.
Yeah, well, it would have never happened for me either until this journey that I'm on now, and it's kind of wild what I look forward to now, even knowing that I don't like running. Like my whole life for the last 6 months has revolved around running and getting better at running and getting the reps in. And so people ask me all the time, so I guess you love running now, or people that don't know my story are like, wow, you're such a runner. And I'm like, no, I'm not a runner. I'm the opposite of a runner, and I've never been a runner, and I still hate running. But I'm doing this for a reason, and that reason goes so much past running. It's all about what it's doing for me mentally and how much my life is improving from the discipline that I'm learning and learning these skill sets that it's going to take to sustain a healthy lifestyle, because at the end of the day that's my target. So
yeah, because you've had a huge change. So you said you started Project Me, and that included everything from getting healthy, getting mentally strong. You quit drinking, which was huge.
yeah.
How did that affect you? Was you drinking every day?
Yeah, so at that point, and actually for the last 7 or 8 years, I had fallen into a pretty bad drinking habit where I would drink most nights, just about every night. And I was highly functioning, so I didn't miss work. I didn't start fights out in public. I wasn't that person. I woke up on time, got to work, took care of everything that I needed to take care of at home. As a matter of fact, a lot of people didn't realize I had a drinking problem. My sisters knew, my wife knew, but my teenage kids at home didn't even know. They were very surprised when I started talking about it to them and how I was going to quit and change that part of my life. So it's that's definitely a big piece of this Project Me journey.
So you weren't a come home and kick the dog and yell at the kids and tell the wife to fix your dinner or else kind of guy. You were a chilled out vodka drinker. Is that what your choice?
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it affected me and it affected my personality a little bit. I just wasn't violent or wild.
That's good because you were big.
Yeah, well, when I was young, when I drank, I was like that, but I didn't drink all the time. But now it was just how I unwound. It's how I coped. I use it as a coping mechanism, and just chill out from the stressors of adult life and raising kids and having a stressful job and all that. So
you've traded alcohol and exercise. You swapped them. It sounds like.
yeah, and I was always an active person till, well, I guess around the same time that I really picked up a drinking habit. And it wasn't just because of drinking. My lifestyle kind of changed. The kids got busy with their sports. So I did less playing ball. I cut going to the gym out and all that stuff. But that was kind of I have found my release, that release, that unwinding is back to physical activity now. Just going through this wellness journey. And it's been pretty neat.
Yeah, it's been incredible. I started watching the videos you started doing. When did you do them? Late last year or earlier this year? And just talking about the things that you're talking about now.
Well, and aside from the physical things, you said you stopped hitting the snooze button. You started reading 10 pages a day, and you never read, 5 books in your whole life, and like things like that aren't necessarily physical attributes, but
yeah. So the whole wellness journey that I began was never intended to be a physical transformation. I kind of knew that was coming, and I knew it was needed. I was well over 100 pounds overweight. I'm still in the process of getting back to a good weight, but it was all about the mental aspect of things and me feeling better, and me challenging myself to do things that I know are beneficial for me. So as like Kelly said, first thing I did when I started this wellness journey, I decided I was going to do it. The very first thing I did was quit hitting the snooze button. It was as little as that. And now here I am 6 months later, 80 pounds down, smile on my face, training for an ultra marathon. So who knows?
So you're drinking all the time. I think you said you mix it with Mountain Dew.
Love some Mountain Dew.
Regular or diet Mountain Dew?
Mike. Do I look like a Diet Mountain Dew kind of guy, Mike?
Yeah, I know. I get you. I had a hard time kicking my regular Mountain Dew habit. I actually got a diet Mountain Dew habit now, which might be even worse with the chemicals in it. But so think of the calories. I mean, how many calories did you cut? Did you ever figure that out?
Yeah, so it's funny that you bring that up, because one of the things, and I'm glad I did this, one of the things as soon as I stopped drinking that I did, there's all kinds of apps out there to help people. But I got on one app strictly for this right here. So I tried to estimate as well as I could without exaggerating the amount of money that I spent a week and the amount of calories that I took in just from my drinking habit. And again, I quit on December 5th, 2021, and it's August 12th of 2022. And I've saved almost $1,800 and over 600,000 calories since I quit drinking.
That's insane.
600,000 calories.
Yeah, I'd done this twice already. The first time I lost 70 pounds. The next time I lost 60, and I've gained some of it back. But I started thinking, when I started counting calories, at my job, I used to hang out with a bunch of people. We go to lunch every day. Not thinking about the money you were spending, but I would sometimes hit McDonald's on the way to work, and I'd get a sausage biscuit. And that's about 350 calories with a regular Coke at the time. So I was drinking regular Coke. So that's probably 400
McDonald's
calories.
Cokes.
Yeah, so 750 calories off the bat. And then we would go to lunch. We'd go pizza. We'd go to Hooters, and we'd get a plate of wings. I looked up 10 wings. It's like 1,800 calories.
A day full of calories.
Yeah, so I'm, by the time I do that, then go home and eat dinner, I'm 6,000 calories in. And when I started adding the calorie intake that you should take in, it's less than 2,000 calories in most cases, unless you're extreme walking and running. So
it really depends on your activity level.
It's a huge cutback if you think about it.
Yeah, so it's a complete 180 lifestyle change. And again, what's crazy is the physical transformation I've made without even focusing on it. But eating habits are something that I did focus on, not to make a physical transformation, but to become healthier, and as part of building that disciplined skill set. So it takes a lot of discipline to not eat your favorite foods and to make a healthier choice. So I didn't do it all at once. I didn't say, okay, I'm not eating anything bad from now on, and I'm only eating good for you foods. It was small changes along the way, and stacking them up over time, along with these other quirky habits like not hitting the snooze button, getting up earlier, reading every day.
Yeah, you see these people that start taking pills or take a powder, and or they cut out so many calories, or they stop eating bread. That stuff's not sustainable.
Yeah, no, so I'm team no fad diet.
And it may work for a lot of people. So if it's working for you, by all means. But once you stop doing those things, it comes back.
Yeah, I'm team no fad diet. I'm all about figuring out how to build the lifestyle that you want to live long term, and then so you set that target, and how do you get there? And for me, and we're all different, like you just said, some of those things work at least short term for a lot of people, but for me, it was I need to build the discipline so that I can sustain these things long term for the rest of my life. I want to be the best version of me for the rest of my life. I've wasted enough time, right? So I wanted to do that by learning how to become disciplined. I thrive on delayed gratification, so I'm now becoming okay with making sacrifices now for the better down the road, instead of that instant gratification. If there's a pizza sitting there, instant gratification wants me to eat it. I feel good right then, right? As soon as that hits my mouth, I feel good. But the bigger impact for me would be not to eat the pizza, take the healthier choice, and I'm going to be a better person next week because of it, or 6 months because of it, or whatever the case may be. And for me, I didn't care how long it took me to turn my life around. I knew, as a matter of fact, I knew if I went slower and at a slower pace, that it was probably going to be healthier and more sustainable. So that's the angle I took. That's the first time I've ever tried it that way. I've tried to transform my body several times. I have transformed my body several times, lifting weights and eating and all that stuff. But I don't want this to feel like a diet. I don't want this to feel like a job. So I want to instill the habits needed to do this a little bit at a time until that's just how I live. It's a lifestyle.
It is. To do it right, it's a complete lifestyle change.
Yep.
But my problem is I'm a stress eater. Somebody sets a pizza in front of me and I've had a tough day, I'm probably going to eat most of it. Or when my wife makes chicken pot pie, that's the worst.
Jenny's chicken pot pie.
Because I can eat that whole thing.
Yeah.
And I have before, and I'm not ashamed of it.
Yeah. So I think, and we all have our vices. Mine, as much as I like food too, obviously my biggest vice was the alcohol, and yours may be stress eating, but it's, you almost have to, you have better luck if you can substitute that coping mechanism with something positive, right? And so I've done a lot of substituting my bad habits with good habits, and I start small. I look for 1% better every day or every week. I learned about habit stacking and taking small habits that are obtainable and that you can keep and sustain for a long period of time, and then stack another small habit on top of it. And those things do add up. And I ask people this question when I'm talking to them now, and I say, where do you want to be in 6 months? A lot of people say, well, I want to lose 100 pounds as quick as I can, or I want to lose 60 pounds as quick as whatever the case may be, and they completely flip their life upside down trying to do it, and they go so hard, and guess what happens 2 months down the road? The motivation's gone, right? Because motivation's not reliable. It's not sustainable. It's like a roller coaster. It's up and down. So they're relying on that motivation, and they wake up one morning and the motivation's not there. Guess what they're going to eat? They're going to eat that sausage biscuit and that good Coke from McDonald's instead of the oatmeal or scrambled eggs, right? So you got to build the discipline. And discipline takes it's a skill set just like anything else to be disciplined. So I practice that. It's like anything else. The more you practice it, the better you're going to get at it. So instead of trying to be disciplined to run 6 miles a day right out of the gate, you know what I was disciplined to get out and walk every day. I didn't have to run 20 miles in a month, right? I just wanted to gradually get healthier. So instead of skipping my walk because I wasn't motivated, I went with the discipline side of things and made myself do it. And you do that continually, and it gets easier and easier.
Yeah, you got to fight that urge to sit on the couch sometimes and do that.
Yeah, and it's not easy. Don't get me wrong. It's you know, at first you get a lot of pats on the back, and everybody's glad to see that you're changing your lifestyle. And then once you're into it for a little while, people start thinking, well, it's easy for you, and that's why you're able to do it. And that's like running. I've had people be like, man, so you actually are a runner, you just didn't think you were. And I'm like, no, you're wrong. I'm not. No. It sucks. Every step of it sucks. I'm just doing it because I want the gratification down the road that I'm chasing.
Yeah, I did it for a while, and I kept shooting for that runner's high. Everybody talks about the runner's high, but I never got that. I mean, I was cussing myself the whole time I'm doing it. I just don't enjoy it. I'm amazed by the people that can run for 5-10 miles with no headphones on and keep that mental game going. So
yeah, so a couple things there that you just said that sparked up for me. So I've not yet reached a runner's high during one of my runs. I'm 6 months in. I've had runs as long as 26.2. I've never reached that runner's high. But something I've noticed is the harder the run is or the workout is, the better I feel mentally as soon as it's over.
Oh, yeah, after you're done, it feels great.
I can go from a terrible mood, go out there and kick my own ass for 2 hours and immediately feel better for hours and hours and hours. And the other thing you mentioned that's kind of funny is not listening to earbuds and stuff. One of the things I'm doing just to make my mind a little bit harder is I go on a lot of runs without music, without audiobooks, without anything other than my thoughts in my mind. That marathon that I ran was my first marathon. I didn't use earbuds at all.
I heard you say that the other
day. And it sounds like it ain't that big of a deal.
It's one of your quirks.
And then to some, it's like, holy crap. To me, it was like when I heard of these guys like Goggins and some of these other guys that I follow saying, you know, we don't use that crap. You don't need that. You know, you're making yourself weaker, which I don't know that I believe that, but I know that it's a little bit harder when you don't have that music hitting just right.
You know, my problem is I don't know. I think I got ADD or ADHD or something. I have no idea. I got one of those D's or A's, and every time I'm walking, I've got my headphones on. I'm listening to a podcast. I find my mind just completely wandering about 12 other things. It took me 2 hours to listen to a 45-minute podcast the other day because my mind kept wandering and I kept hitting rewind. I flipped it back I don't know how many times.
Yeah.
I'd have wore cassette tape out back in the day. You tear that tape up. But maybe that's what I need to do is give up the headphones and just be in my own head because my mind just completely wanders.
And everybody reacts to that different. Like I've talked to some people, and a lot of people get work done while they're doing that. You know, they're really using their time for creative thinking. They're getting all these bright ideas. I haven't got to that point yet, and I've had I don't know 10 or 12 workouts now without any earbuds in. I'm doing more as I go, but I take myself to the exact present time. Like when I'm on a workout or a run, I'm not thinking about how I can make my night more efficient when I get home. I'm not thinking about what I have to do. I'm relishing the moment, every little ounce of that run, every little ounce of that pain. I'm just sucking in and
so what are you thinking
about?
When I'm walking and I don't have my headphones on, I find myself in the park looking at the trees and watching the squirrels, and then I zone out. And I try to take it in, but I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, so my runs usually look something like this when I'm not listening to anything. When I'm thinking, I start out and I think, man, I
lost my mind.
I bet I look like Frankenstein because I'm so stiff trying to run out here. And then that shifts to, hey, man, I feel pretty good. And that quickly shifts to, this sucks really bad. How am I ever going to run 50 miles? And then it kind of switches to, this is exactly what you need and what you're looking for is this pain right here. You want to stop right now, but you're not going to because you're getting harder every single workout,
Yeah.
and it just replays in my head over and over. Go one more, keep hammering, don't stop. All of those motivational things that you hear, you drive through your head, and then a lot of times I challenge myself. I call myself a lot of bad names when I'm out there. I'll beat on myself a lot. I get rid of some of that guilt and some of that shame. Sometimes you go into pretty deep, dark places thinking, but it gets you through, and you get through the workout, and then that euphoria hits afterwards. And heck, maybe that is what a runner's high is. Maybe I just get mine after the workout.
Yeah.
But I've never felt it during a workout. Every second of every workout I've ever had sucked. Especially the 20 miles on the treadmill at the soccer
How long did
tournament.
that take you?
And so background on that, our kids play soccer together, and so we had an out-of-town tournament in Lexington, and everybody stayed in the same hotel so the kids could, spend some time together. It was team bonding time, and of course all the parents get along really good, so we're all there. But I had a run to do that I had to get in, and with it being in Lexington, I wasn't familiar with the roads, and we were in kind of a downtown area. We stayed at the hotel next to Rupp. I didn't know about running in the middle of the night out on the roads, and so I decided I had this great idea I would run on the treadmill, except for it was a 20-mile run, and at my pace right now is like an 11-minute pace for something like that. So it took me 4 hours. And the funniest thing, so when you run distance like that for endurance, you have to hydrate and you have to get nutrition in, right? I had forgot all of my gels and my chews that I use for nutrition at the house. And so I made some peanut butter and honey sandwiches, and Brooke brought me some turkey sandwiches down to the treadmill. And about midnight, this dude comes in, and he's working out, and he's getting after it. He's ripped. He's getting after it. And I'm on the treadmill. I mean, sweat pouring off of me. And I'm done. I'm running at this slow 12-minute pace. And this dude gets on treadmill, and he's doing these sprint workouts next to me. Well, he notices I've got a turkey sandwich sitting right here on the treadmill.
Big guy with a turkey sandwich.
So here's this 200-pound dude on the treadmill. And I'm dying laughing because he's looking at me, and he's straight judging like, this dude can't even get on the treadmill without eating a sandwich.
That's hilarious.
Has no idea that it was actually key for me to even get through that run, but it was kind of funny.
Well, it's pretty inspirational, man. I know you've done a lot of videos, and if people aren't following, which a lot of people that watch this probably are, give him a follow, Craig Hartlage, and check it out and support him. So you've got a goal you're trying to raise, right?
Yeah. So my goal for this 50-mile race is to raise $10,000 for Shirley's Way, and we've done awesome so far. I've raised about $6,000. So we still have a long way to go and only 7 weeks left. So if you want to help us out, go to shirleysway50miler.org, and you can click the donate button. You can click on my picture if you want to donate under my name. I would appreciate that. And donate. It's going to the fine folks at Shirley's Way, and that's put to good spots. So that is definitely a huge part of why I'm doing this. And it'll be an honor to help out at a capacity greater than what I could just write you a check for personally. So
where can people follow you at?
Yeah, so
you're an influencer now.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm an influencer, but Facebook is just Craig Hartlage. Instagram is chartlage11, and TikTok is the platform that I share most of this stuff on. I share a lot about Project Me, a lot about my marathon training, and a lot about alcoholism on TikTok, and that is the real Craig Hartlage. So look me up on there, give me a follow, and like all my videos. Comment on them.
Well, we may get you back in here one day since we've screwed up one of us screwed up the first two of these. But I'd like to really talk about the alcohol side of that, because I think it would have a huge impact on people that feel like they're stuck in a situation. I follow a guy on social media. He actually used to work up here, and he's alcohol-free for 3 years, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
To set that down and not look back is pretty incredible. So
yeah, it's not easy for most, and that's why it's such a terrible disease, and why it takes so many lives every year. So Yeah, I'd be more than willing to come back and talk more about my journey. I'll be a little further into it by then. I'm rolling 8 months right now, and don't plan on looking back. So
I think we should bring him back after the 50 miler.
Yeah.
See how that went.
Yeah, see how that goes. And
yeah, that might be good.
Mm-hmm.
well, we'll do that. Talk about it. See how we're going, and then talk about the alcohol side as well.
Yeah, we can do that definitely. Maybe I'll have another crazy plan.
Oh, man.
By then on the next chapter. Wonder if I can talk Mike into the next one, whatever it's gonna be.
Well, we'll see how this one goes. Like I said,
Yeah.
I'm giving you 12 hours. I got kids to go see that night, so we'll see how far I get for just 12 hours. If I can stay on my feet that long, I'm working on it.
It's pretty remarkable, really, for for folks like us that don't train for that. Of course, I'm training now, but
Not built for it. How about that?
definitely,
We're definitely not built
definitely
for it.
not.
We're
But we're
linebacker material. Not,
maybe more like tag team wrestlers or something, but not ultra marathon runners. So
Well, September 24th at the Louisville Loop, right?
yeah, out the Parklands.
Yep, you all come out that day. If you're not going to run, walk, or bicycle, you could at least see if Craig's going to finish it. I think you can do it.
Yeah, if you want to see a big tough grown man cry, you want to be at the finish line, because I got a feeling I'm going to be emotional when I actually cross that finish
That's
line.
all right. That's
Yep.
all right.
It's a huge
I've
accomplishment.
never dedicated myself to anything like this before.
Yep.
So
Well, it's been fun to watch. Follow him on social media, and he does some really good videos. We're going to have him back right after the 50 miler. And if you want to support the 50 miler, Shirley's Way 50miler.org. Look him up, and we got these cool shirts. And click on his name and do a little pledge to help guide him along and make him or help him get through this. So.
you look for upcoming raffle on my social media too. I think we'll raffle off a big gas card or something in kind of last efforts to hit that $10,000 goal.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome. Well, you all stay tuned for our next episode. We don't know who we're going to have yet, but I'm sure it'll be just as good as this one.
Yeah, working on somebody fun. So
All right.
thanks so much. See ya. Bye-bye.